Body lotion ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲೇನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಖಾಲಿ
ಇದೇನಾಗ್ತೀನಿ ಬಿಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ತಿಂತೀಯಾ ಸಂಜೆನಿ ಬಿಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಬೇಕಾ
ತಿಂಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ
Good morning. Am I audible?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. So yesterday we have discussed on concurrency, right? So where we are executing two or more activities simultaneously. So when we are trying to identify the concurrency between the objects, so what happens? We need to identify how the objects are going to cooperate with each other. So when these objects are going to cooperate with each other, so how the behavior of the system is going to change, that we need to observe. So here we have an example of a vulnerability of playing with the rubber. So here what happens in this diagram is, can you view this diagram? So here what we have a playing, we have a game called as a bridge, where we are using the nested activities. So for that nested activities, what we have given it as a playing with the rubber. So here initially it will be in a non-vulnerable state. So from non-vulnerable state to it has to move to the vulnerable state. So where we are calling it as a NS game, that is not to solve vulnerability. We are identifying. So here what happens, when you can see there two things are going to happen simultaneously. That is, here we have taken the directions for the vulnerability. So one can be a north-south direction and one can be a east-west direction. We are identifying the vulnerability. So both of them will be executed, or both the games will be played simultaneously. So to identify the games to play simultaneously, we can observe here there is a dotted line. So the dotted line indicates that both the games is being played simultaneously, or we can say it has a concurrently. So both the games, that is NS vulnerability and east-west vulnerability, both of them are running in a parallel, or you can say it is a concurrent to each other's, where it is not dependent on each other. So here what happens when this game over, so we are identifying who is the winner among the N and S, who wins the rubber, and among east and west, who wins the rubber. So that is how we are trying to indicate the concurrency among the players between the direction. So in the next diagram, what we have a cash dispenser. Say it can be an ATM machine. So when you say ATM machine, so here what happens? Here what happens? We have first the machine has to be set up. So setting the machine is a one particular state. So once the machine is being set up, so that we are identifying as a transition where the machine will be ready. So once the machine is ready, so what happens? You can see here the solid bar. So this solid bar indicates the we call it as a synchronization bar. That means it will split the process into two different processes, which the process has to run simultaneously. So when the process is being split, so here what happens? We have a nested activity among this synchronization part. So here emitting, we call this entire nested activities as a emitting. So we have given a name as a emitting, where it consists of two states. So the first state is do dispense cash. That means when a user is providing all his credentials, after providing the login credentials and entering the details of the amount, so what happens? The machine has to dispense the cash from the machine. So once the machine dispenses the cash out of it, so what happens? Next, it has to move out. That means that is the final state. So it will print the result and it will come out of the loop. So once this activity is closed, so what happens? It has to move back to its original state. So that state we are specifying as a ready to reset state. So one more thing that we can have is when we are setting, after the system is ready, we can eject the card. That means there can be a situation that the ATM machines cannot have, the cash dispenser may not have a cash. In that case, what happens? As soon as you insert, the card has to be ejected if there is no money available. So that is a one particular state. So it has to come out of, the card has to be ejected from the machine. So once the machine dispenses the card, so what happens? No further activities are there. So we are ending the activities. Again, what the system should go? The system should be reset to its original state. So that is how the synchronization activities that we are trying to indicate here. So once that has been done, so here what we are identifying when we are trying to identify the concurrency among the parts, we need to identify how the system is going to transit from one state to another state during the transition. So what transition, whatever the transitions are there, so that we are trying to represent it as a sub diagram. So we can also use a sub diagram to represent the concurrent activities if there are more number of activities that has been represented. Okay, so next we have a sample state model. So in a sample state model, what we have taken the this thermostat. So when we are, the diagram is not there here, just I will give you the diagram later. Okay, so here what happens when we are trying to indicate the sample state model. So there are different there are different states that are available. So one is a user interface. So the state diagram is being taken as a programmable thermostat. So when you say a programmable thermostat, what we have a user interface. Say for example, it can be your AC machine that has been set up. So when you have a AC machine, AC installed in a room, so what happens? There can be a season switch. So the season switch has heat and cold on heat and cold. So when we are having heat and cool, so if the outside temperature is more, then what happens? We are setting the room temperature has a cooling effect. So what happens? From the heat, it will move to the cooling state. So if the outside temperature is very cool, then what you are going to do, you are converting that AC into a heater. That means you will move to the heating state. So that is what we call it as a season switch. Or else what you can have, if you are using a fan, so if the temperature is more, then you are switching on the fan. So if the temperature is less, so you don't need a fan. So it will move from the on state to the off state. That is one more condition. So there is one more example, that is furnace relay. So when we are dealing with the furnace relay, so what happens? We are trying to indicate the temperature of a furnace. So we are identifying with respect to the condition. So the condition, how we are using, by using a change event. So what is that change event? When the temperature is less than the targeted temperature and the season switch is heat. So what happens when the temperature is less than the targeted temperature and the season switch is heat? So what we are trying to do, we are trying to move the furnace off state to the on state, and the furnace will be keep on running. So if the temperature is greater than the targeted plus seasons which is not in a heat, then again from the on state it will move back to the off state. So similarly, what we can have a air conditioned relay. So when we are using the air conditioned relay, so what we are trying to use, we are trying to use a AC. So when we are using the AC, we are again using the change event. When we are using a change event, the temperature should be greater than the target, and the season switch should be in a cool. So if the season switch is cool, then what we are trying to do, we are trying to run the AC from off state to on state. If the temperature is less than the targeted temperature, then from the on state we are moving back to the off state. So that is how we are trying to change the air conditioner relay. So next what we have a run indicator. So when we are dealing with the run indicator, what we are using, we are trying to use a condition that when the furnace is in a on state. So what happens? It will move from a off state to the on state. So how do we identify that the furnace is running, or a fan is running, or AC is running? By indicator. So what is that indicator? The light is an indicator. So something should be on that a machine to indicate that machine is in a running state. So when it turns from off state to on state, so a small light will be blinking, so which indicates that the system is in a on state. So again, if you move back to the original state, that is in a off state, so what happens? We are trying to indicate with the off state. So in that case, what we are using, when the furnace is in off or AC is in a off, that is again we are using a change event. So by using a change event, we are trying to move back to the original state. Next is a fan relay. So again, when we are using a fan relay, so what happens? So the fan relay indicates the run indicator. So from off state, it will move to the on state. Then what happens? During the on state, we have an activity called as a do or run fan. So when the fan will be in a running state, so it indicate we are using the run indicator, which brings a light, and fan goes into the auto mode or a switch off mode when we are not trying to utilize the fan. So that is how we are trying to represent a programmable thermostat. So I said a user interface. So when we are going with the user interface, we have a what we have? We have a nested state. So how we are trying to represent that? So we are trying to use a display time. So when we are trying to use a display time, so what happens? It will show the time. So after some period of time, 2 to 3 seconds, so it will show what is the temperature. So once the temperature is being displayed, again what it will do, it will go back to the display time after 2 seconds. Then we need to identify what is the targeted temperature. So to indicate the targeted temperature, if we are trying to display the target temperature, so it will show the target temperature. So it will identify whether to increase or decrease the temperature. That means if you have if you are using the AC, so you are trying to indicate, you are trying to increase the or decrease the room temperature. Then from after setting the room temperature increasing or decreasing, then what we are trying to do, we are trying to run the program. So during the running of the program, what we are indicating, so either you can go to the hold, or from the hold state you can go back to the running of the program. So after the run program, what we can do, we can make when we are dealing with the setup. So during the setup, what we can do, we can have a setup of a clock, set the day and set the program. So in a set clock, we are trying to indicate at what time the temperature has to be increased or decreased. Say during the daytime, in a summer, you want to have a room temperature with a high cool. So what you are trying to do, you are trying to increase the room temperature with the coldness. So during the daytime, then you are trying to set the program, what should be the program with respect to the targeted temperature. So that is how we are trying to use. So when it comes for a temperature mode, so temperature can be measured in a degree Fahrenheit or Celsius. So if you are trying to convert, you can also convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius and from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So that can be done. So next thing is we have a night switch. So when we are dealing with a night switch, so what happens, if you want to have like a torch button, you can switch on the light, and when the light is switched on, so what happens, the light is going to shine. Next thing is setting the clock. So when we are trying to set a clock, we have two things. So either you can set for a minute, you can set for an hour. So during the setting of a minutes, what we are trying to indicate, we are trying to show only the minute section. So when you are setting the minutes, so time you can increase the minute or you can decrease the minute. So that is a self state that you are trying to change. And from after setting the minute, so from the setting the minute, you are trying to set the clock. That is, you need to set the hours. So when you are trying to set the hours, what we are trying to indicate, we can move back or we can move forward that means you can increment the hours or you can decrement the hours depending upon a time. And next thing is setting the day. So when you are trying to indicate a set day, when you are trying to indicate a set day, either you can increment, you can show the day on which day the temperature is being increased or temperature is being decreased. So next thing is you need to set the program. So when we are trying to set the program, it can be a concurrent process. So the first thing is you can display the program time, you can display the program period, and you can display the program temperature. So at what time the temperature is being in an increased or decreased mode, at what on what period. That means during one particular month, so how the program can be run. You can set for the entire month. So that is how you can set the program with respect to different state. That means we are trying to use a change event. So based on a change event, what we are trying to do, we are trying to set the system, how the system is going to behave based on an external environment. So the next thing is relationship between a class and a state model. So when we are using the relationship between a class and a state model, so what does the class model will say? The class model will tell you about the first thing is behavior and the classification and behavior. So when we say a class structure like behavior and the classification, so we are trying to use a generalization and the when we are trying to use a generalization, we are trying to indicate how the system is going to be inherit the properties of a higher class to the lower class. So what are the different classes and how the classes can be nested with each other, or how you can transit from one class to the another class. So we are using the transition of a class from one class to the another class through the concept of navigation. So in a navigation, what we have discussed the object constraint language. So through the object constraint language, what we are trying to do, we are trying to move from one class to the another class, and we can have a nested properties among the classes through the concept of a generalization. But in terms of a state model, so if you want to have a inheritance, you can also use a subclasses. That is, we have used a vending machine as an example. So in a vending machine, we have used a dispense item as one particular part. So the dispense item is being taken as a sub diagram or submission diagram. So where it includes a lot of activities. So once that activities is being completed, again it will move back. It will go back to the original state diagram, and it will further process the whatever the transitions are there. Further transitions can be carried out. So that can be done based on this signal hierarchy and the class hierarchy. Depending upon that, we can organize all the classes. So that completes the 6th chapter. That is a advanced state modeling. Do you have any doubts in concurrency? Preeti? Any doubts? Ashwini? Yes, speak out. You have any doubts or not? Anyone? Can I move on to next chapter? What?
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't speak, I think that you might have understood. You have to reply me back whether do you want me to repeat any other thing or shall I continue?
Continue, ma'am.
Okay. So we have come across class modeling, state modeling, and the next chapter is a interaction modeling. So among the 3 models, we are with the last model, that is a interaction model. So interaction model, what does the interaction model says? The interaction model says that how the objects are going to interact with each other. So under the interaction model modeling, what we have a 3 different diagrams. So first one is a use case diagram, and the second one is a sequence diagram, and the third one is a activity diagram. So the first diagram that we are dealing with the interaction model is a use case diagram. So what is this use case diagram? So the use case diagram is nothing but it focuses on the functionality. That means, say for example, you want an application, a mobile application for a online electricity bill payment of requirements. Say the customer usage, then the number of process, then the number price that the customer has to pay. So all these things you might have listed. So this will become a functionalities or the requirements. So whatever the requirements are there, so that you are trying to put up in a use case. So to define a use case, what we are trying to indicate here the things. So what are those? So two things we have. One is the actor and one is a use case. So who is this actor? So actor is nothing but a external user. So what this actor will do? So the external user is going to communicate with the system, whatever the objects of the systems are there. So he is going to directly communicate with the system. Say for example, but he is not a part of a system. He is just going to, just using the system. He is going to interact with that particular system. Say for example, if you are taking a airline reservation, so I can say passenger has a external user. So what does the passenger will do with respect to the use cases? So the use cases are nothing but a booking, checking the availability, make payment. Say assume these are the three different use cases that we are trying to indicate. So on the other part, what we have a system. Reservation system has a one actor. So what happens? The passenger will look into the availability. So what the system will do? The system, based on the reservation details that has reservation details, the system is going to provide the information to the user. Later, what happens? The passenger is trying to identify if there are any seats, or if the seats are available, he will confirm booking. Then he will make a payment to the reservation system. That means all these use cases which we are representing in a oval shape, that will become a functionalities. So here you can see. So we are defining a use case as a piece of a coherent piece of a functionality, so which can provide with the interaction of interacting with the orders. So here we have taken an example of a vending machine. So where one of the vending machine can use a different use cases. So here what we are using a buy beverages, we are using a perform scheduled maintenance, make repair and load items. So buy beverage is what? So assume that you are using a coffee machine. Okay, so the customer is going to pay for it, and he will drop a coin. So once the coin is being dropped, so what happens? Whichever the beverages that the customer is selecting, so that beverage will be delivered to the customer. So next use case is a perform scheduled maintenance. Say it can be an annual maintenance that has to be provided for the service for the vending machine. So based on the working condition of the machine, the system has to be maintained. Next thing is make repair. So when that comes for a making of repair, so if the system is not providing any services, if any part of the system is being corrupted, then it goes for a making of repair. So next thing is the load items. So who is responsible for loading the items? A clerk is responsible for loading all the items. So whatever the remaining items are there, so that remaining items, the stock beverages, has to be loaded by the clerk. Okay. So next thing is, we can also in this case, when we are trying to indicate the modeling, we can also indicate the error condition where the error can occur. That is what the right modeling says. That means we need to identify the error condition, and when the system is going to have a availability, everything has to be identified. So for identifying that, what we are using, we are trying to put up in terms of a use case description. So when we are identifying the use case description, what are the things that we are having? So first thing is use case name. So in a use case name, what we have taken a buying of a beverage. So next thing is summary. Summary indicates that the vending machine has to deliver the beverage to the customer once the customer selects the beverage, and he has to pay for it. Once the payment is being done and once the beverage is being selected, then only the machine is going to work. So that is what the short summary that we are trying to indicate. That means what, whenever you are trying to write a use case diagram, you need to have a one particular format. That we call it as a use case description. And whatever the list that you can see here, use case name, summary, actor, conditions, description, everything has to be mentioned in a use case description. And next thing is actors. That means who are going to use this particular system. you need to specify that who are the actors. Say for example, I can take a customer as a actor, and we have taken a repair technician, right? Repair technician, and we have a stock clerk. So what does the stock clerk will do? The stock clerk is he is going to identify what is the total load, total items that are available. If the items are less, or if no items are available in a beverage machine, then he has to load that, right? So that is what we need to identify the actors. That is who are the external users who are going to interact with the system. You need to list all the actors. And next thing is the preconditions. So in a preconditions, what we are trying to identify, where the machine will be in a waiting state for money to be inserted. That means what? Till the money is being inserted into the vending machine, till then the customer cannot get the beverages. So to get the beverage, what happens? That is a precondition. Only if he inserts a coin, then only a beverage can be dispensed from the machine. So that is what the precondition we are having. And the next thing is description. So when it comes for a description, so what happens? The machine will be in a waiting state. So when the machine will be in a waiting state, what happens? The customer will come and he is going to drop a coin, or he is going to enter a coin. So once the customer enters the coin, so what happens? The machine will display the total amount. So if he want to get a change, it will identify the list of items that the customer has selected, and it will compute the change, and it will push the item to the item, and the customer can collect the item. So that is what the description says. So next thing is the exception. So what is this exception? Exception can be an error, right? So we need to specify when there can be an error, when an error can be introduced into the system. So that we are calling it as an error exception with respect to the use case description. So when we see an exception, so there are different types of exception. One thing is a cancelled. So when that if the customer does not require the particular item, then what he can do, he can select a cancel button, and whichever the items are there, so it will cancel the order, and the item has to be returned back to the customer. So that is the first case, cancelling. And next thing is out of stock. So the customer might have booked, but the availability of that product may not be there. So since the availability is not there, then since the items are out of stock, if the customer has made the payment already, then what happens? It is an exception. It has to return back the amount back to the customer. That is the second exception. And the third thing is insufficient money. So whatever the customer presses a button, and if the cost is more, and if the customer, if he has inserted a less money, so if he has not given a correct change, or if he has given a less amount, then what happens? The exception has to be raised, and it has to be indicated to the user that whatever the money that you have inserted, whatever the coins that you have inserted, it is insufficient. That error condition has to be checked. Say for example, one more exception is no change. Say for the cost of the beverage may be 20 rupees, but the customer might have dropped a 50 rupees note. The remaining change has to be provided by the system. So in that case, if 30 rupees change is not available within a system, then what happens? It has to throw an error that there is no changes, cannot make the change. Please reinsert the coin, or enter the correct change. So these are the possibilities of exception for buying a beverages. That means for any use cases or for any system, we need to identify what are the exceptions that can be arised. For each and every exception, what we need to do, we need to try to give a description. So once we have given a description and where the error is going to occur. So that can be taken as a taken for a implementation part. Next thing is a post condition. The post condition is the machine is waiting for the money to be inserted. That means the again the once the beverage is being dispatched, again the machine will go back to the steady state, or it may be resetted once again. So when it moves back to the original state, again what happens, it will give the condition that the system is in a steady state and it will be waiting for the next customer to insert a coin. So this is how the use case descriptions can be represented. So the notation for a actor is a small circle with the line that can be represented. So this we call it as a actor. So the other name of the actor here is the stickman. We are calling it as a stick. The other technical name is, we call it as a stickman. So this actor can be a customer, he can be a passenger, he can be a client, he can be a printer, it can be a computer system or any other thing. So depending, this actor can be dependent based on a different kinds of system that we are trying to use. You cannot say always an actor has an end user. It can be anything. So depends upon a what type of system that you are trying to model. And the next thing is a use case. So when we move to the use case is being represented with respect to the oval shape. So this use case is nothing but a functionality, actual functionalities, whatever is there that we are trying to indicate. Okay, so here what we have a vending machine. So we have a customer, repair technician, and a stock clerk. So what does the so whatever the functionalities are there, so that these use cases will be represented as a system. So the entire system, what we are calling here, it has a vending machine. So in a vending machine, what are the different functionalities that we are having? One is a buy beverage, perform the scheduled maintenance, make repair, and the load items. So all the four use cases I have told you already what it is going to do. So who are the actors? So one is a customer, and one is a repair technician, and one is a stock clerk. So we need to try to indicate the actor who, which is being interacting with a particular use case. So what does the customer will do? The customer want only to buy a beverage. So when it moves to the buy beverage, so internally this functionality will be waiting for a customer to insert a coin. So once the customer inserts a coin, so what happens, whichever the items that he has selected as a beverage, so that will be provided to the customer. So this customer cannot make an interaction with the scheduled maintenance and a make repair, because the customer will come and purchase the item, that's all. He has not dealt with the any other use cases. Next, what we have a repair technician. So what does this repair technician, what he will do? He is going to schedule the maintenance. Say it can be an annual maintenance. So every year the system has to be maintained. And next thing is a make repair. So if the system is not in a working condition, then again he has to come back and he has to make the repairs. And what does the stock clerk will do? The stock clerk will identify what are the different items that has to be loaded. If the stock is less, then what the customer will do, what the clerk will do, is just going to load the items. So that is how the system is going to work. So you have any other doubt? Seema? Seema? Nidhi? Any doubts you have? What we have discussed with respect to this?
No, ma'am.
No? Is it fine, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Afternoon, I'm going to take a lab, okay? For B1, B2 batch. The third,
Okay, ma'am.
I will send you an intimation once I just schedule the meeting. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Yes.